Hey y'all, welcome to Adventures with Aggie. Today we have a really exciting episode. This is our first episode of Adventures with Aggie Road to Tokyo. So to kick us off on our Road to Tokyo series, we have Nicole Heavirland. She plays rugby for Team USA, and she's going to walk us through what she's been doing the last year, kind of waiting on hold for the Tokyo Olympics to happen, and what she has left before they head off to Tokyo in a few months. So on that note, please welcome Nicole. Nicole, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks so much for taking some time to speak with me. So just to get started, can you kind of give me some background, who you are, where you're from, what you do?
My name's Nicole Heavirland. I'm from Whitefish, Montana, and I play rugby for the women's national team. We're based out of Chula Vista, California. So I live in San Diego full time. And we play sevens rugby. Traditionally, you hear rugby in the terms of 15s, but sevens is what's in the Olympics, and that is our big tournament that we compete to train for. When it's not the Olympics, we're playing all around the world, Dubai, Cape Town, New Zealand, Australia, and yeah, I'm a professional rugby player. So.
Awesome. I love it. I guess my first question, why rugby? How did this become your thing? How did you get into it?
High school. My first love was basketball. I was a point guard and went to college to play basketball. But previous to college, I'd played rugby in high school. My dad one day said, "Hey, Nicole, you're going to play rugby?" And I said, "Why?" And he's like, "Because you're going to be good at it." So he knew right away, played in high school and played in college, and now I'm part of the national team. So.
Awesome. Cool. So I know you made your debut in 2015, 2016, World Rugby Women's Sevens. So can you kind of talk about your debut, what you were feeling, and how excited you were?
Yeah, so I moved out to California in 2015 and made my debut in 2016 tournament. It was in the country, so United States soil was my first tournament. And yeah, it was nerve-wracking being a part of the national team, but
yeah,
you train so hard, and if you train hard every day and you just trust what you know and get out in the field with your friends, and yeah.
Yeah.
What was that tournament? I'm trying to figure out. Oh my gosh, I have so many. I can't keep track.
I'm kind of familiar, but not super familiar. I'm getting into rugby as we speak.
Yeah.
But I don't, Seven Series? That sound, I don't know.
Which one you say?
Seven Series? That's what your Wikipedia said. But I don't know. All good. No worries. Yeah, so what was the process like getting to USA Rugby? Like, were there tryouts, trainings? I have no idea what this process is like. So what was the journey like to the team?
Yeah. So basically I started in high school my sophomore year, played sophomore through junior in Whitefish, Montana. My dad is actually still the coach here in the Valley for the high school team. So I played that in high school, and then we went to a tournament in Idaho, and there were some USA Rugby recruits who had noticed me at the time and contacted me after the tournament and said, "Hey, we like how you play." And from there, I went to U20's national competition in Nottingham, England. So that was 15s program. So I first started with the under 20s national team in 15s, and the national coach also was there, and he saw me, and Pete Steinberg is his name, and he also he wanted to keep me in the loop of things, and made my debut on my first national team in 2015 with the 15s program in Canada. So from there it was just all up from there, and got seen by the sevens coach at the time, and went to college and played basketball for a little bit, and then transferred over to the rugby program at West Point, and at the time was under Bill Leclerc, who's the coach there, and kind of kept in contact with the national team through then, and and just got offered to play full time and be a part of the residency program in 2015 under Julie McCoy, and took advantage of it, and because I wanted to shoot for the 2016 Rio Olympics. So yeah, that makes sense.
No, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
I think the coolest things about rugby, women's rugby especially, is how a lot of people I feel like start later than like, you know, people are like, oh, I was playing soccer since I was 13.5 years old. So I guess my question is like, why is that? Why, like, I don't know. I just don't hear that with many other sports. Like I was speaking with Phaedra Knight, a little while ago, and she's like, yeah, I didn't start till college. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, that's so weird to me. But yeah, I don't know. How does that work?
So I think why that is because in America, we don't grow up saying, I want to be a rugby player. We grow up saying, I want to play soccer, I want to play basketball, baseball even. But yeah, it's just like, so you don't find it until later in life. And I found like a lot of people who do find it are like, wow, this is amazing. I wish I would have started earlier. But yeah, I think it's just like, it's not the biggest sport in America just yet. And that's kind of, as on a national team, and my teammates can say this probably for themselves, is like, we're trying to grow the sport in America. And it's actually one of the fastest growing sports here. So that's definitely, you don't start till later, and like a lot of my teammates actually like didn't start till like college or even after college, so it's pretty cool.
That's so cool. I guess it's not too late for me then. We'll see.
I know it's not.
I love that though. That's so cool. I think it's so interesting too to hear like the stories are really unique when like talking to women's rugby players, because like who knows what they were doing for those first 21 years of their lives or something before they turned to this, which I love. That.
No, a lot of my teammates are just like, yeah, I played ice hockey in college, or soccer, and basketball.
Yeah.
And a few of them played rugby, but not like a lot. So it's just like, we're all just athletes. And
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't think I didn't grow up having like a youth rugby team in Birmingham, Alabama. Like that wasn't really an option for us, I guess. I don't know. Maybe one day we'll have one.
Yeah. Hopefully soon.
Yes.
That's the hope.
For sure. Cool. Let's transition a little bit. I know you traveled to Rio. So what was this like, just being a part of an Olympic movement? I know that sounds like a dream to so many people. So yeah, what was your time like in Rio?
Yeah, no, Rio was amazing. I was the reserve, so 12 are selected for the team, and I was the 13th, 14th woman. So I got to travel, and if anyone were to be injured, I would just play. And thankfully, none of my teammates got injured. So I watched in the stands and got to see how it went down. So it was the first time women's sevens rugby was in the Olympics. It's 2016, and 2021 will be the second time. And my experience there was pretty great, and I got to see how it goes down, and there was actually no pressure as a reserve, just to experience it, and it only made me better for this next go around and have a little bit more experience under the belt.
Definitely. I didn't know that that was the first year that women's rugby was in the Olympics. I feel like rugby seems like an old sport, like guys have been playing for so long.
There's like World Cup for rugby in 15s is huge. That's their Olympics. And then for sevens, our Olympics is the Olympics now. But the World Cups have been going on for years and years. So that's probably like where you like correlate that. So that's like kind of like the older generation. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I know when I studied in the UK for a little bit, and like rugby there is huge, right?
Yeah. And like you go to pubs and it's on the TV. Yeah. Like, when we travel, we feel famous, but like in America, people are like, "Who are you?"
I noticed that. I was like, the first time I went to dinner, I was in London somewhere, and I was like, "Oh, what is that on the TV?" Like, never seen that here, which is so not casually, at least, like you have to like know that you're going to turn on a rugby match here in the US. Like, I'm going to watch rugby now.
Right. Yeah.
Like, casual Friday night or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's growing, like you said. I'm super excited. I hope that it gets to that point where it's a casual rugby night, you know.
Uh-huh.
We'll see though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you've qualified ready for Tokyo 2021 now. How are you feeling? I guess, like, what happened in this last year? Like, how have you all been staying connected as a team and I guess prepared for a year delay?
Right. Yeah. So since March, when the delay happened, we've been just doing a lot of Zoom meetings as a team. Some are very serious, some are just fun, like connection pieces, and been doing that, and a lot of like sports psych for us. So a lot of like what's happening in your mind and the mental side of things, and that's helped tremendously, and along with the connection. But thankfully, since August we've been able to train. First, it was just in groups of 7, so we have a pool of like 20 girls, and in the beginning in August it was groups of 7, because just to see like how we can start building it back into this, and then we went to groups of 10, and now we're actually in the full 20 as we get closer to the Olympics, which is really exciting for us. We've done some inter squad scrimmages and have hopes to head to Madrid, Spain in February for some competition against some international teams. And that's all as far as we know for competition-wise. But we're back at home in Chula Vista. We're not cutting any corners. We're doing it right, and it's pretty exciting to see us build and get ready for 2021.
Yeah, I think that's so cool how athletes have been able to stay connected. I know, like, students, like my classmates were like, oh, like, what do we do? Like, we Zoom again? Yeah, we Zoom again, you know?
Again.
Yes.
Nope. Turn on your cameras. Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I was talking to a Paralympian about this the other day, and he's saying, like, it's hard staying like connected with the national team because you're from everywhere. He was like, I'm in Texas right now, but I'm not from Texas, and we train in Alabama. So, like, it's not like we're just casually passing each other. Like, lots of college teams, like, you'll live in the same area at least, or maybe during the year. Yeah. So I don't know, like, how does the training happen, right? Like, it's super purposeful because you all have to travel to the same place. This was, I guess, before COVID. The location seems hard with lots of national teams, regardless of the sport and stuff. So I guess, how does that work? And how, I mean, obviously it's Zooming now, but before COVID happened, I guess, what was that like, trying to create the chemistry and stuff when y'all are traveling all over the place to be connected?
Yeah, I mean, well, so we do have the 20, and we did have the 20 before COVID, and we train at Chula Vista Elite Athlete Training Center every day. Sometimes there from like 9 to 6 p.m. But yeah, so every month we'd probably basically train, or we'd leave for a tournament, and about 13 or 14 girls would go, and the rest would stay back home and train. So it was really unique in the sense that every time we came back from tournament, that 12 or that 13, we'd connect with the girls, the home team, and we'd have a coffee like meetup, and we'd talk about like your highs and lows of the past 2 weeks since we've been separate. And that's like part of the team culture that I really do enjoy, that my coach Chris Brown has brought to the program, is just, yes, it's important to figure out what to do on the field and how to mesh, but also what's most important is, do you know that girl from your right and your left? Like, what's their family like, and what motivates them, and is really special. And I think that has built like a very strong bond for our team.
Definitely. Did you say Chris Brown?
Chris Brown, Christopher Brown, Christopher Charles Brown.
That's so funny. I know a couple people named Chris Brown, you know, and like it's always a joke. Like everybody knows Chris Brown, but it's not Chris Brown. That would be crazy if Chris Brown was the coach of the women's rugby team.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Just he's from New Zealand. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
That's awesome. And not the same Chris Brown that I was thinking of.
Nope. Probably not.
Okay, cool. So back to Tokyo. I love asking Olympians this. What does the road to Tokyo or like the road to Rio or the road to any Olympics, what does that mean to you? Like to me, it's like cool commercials, you know, watching all the hype on social media. I'd imagine you get some of that, but it's probably not the same. There's a lot of preparation and stuff that goes into that. I guess so like what does this road mean to you?
Yeah. I think the road has changed throughout actually. And I've taken different routes, taken a right, taken a left, backed up, you know, but ultimately for me right now it's enjoying the process. Because I've had teammates who have been to Rio and competed in the Olympics as in rugby, and one advice that I got and I'll never forget is the Olympics will be like a field trip if you don't enjoy the process. You go and you leave and then it's done. So the most important thing is to enjoy the build-up and enjoy the blood, sweat, and tears. And it's just so unique because right now we have, like I said, like a group of 20 and building up for 2021. And after that, a lot of girls will go their separate ways, and you'll miss those memories that you didn't want to do it, or you just were laughing so hard, and that's what the road is for me right now. And if it's meant to be for me to be an Olympian in 2021, then great. But right now it's just living each moment and trying to embrace it and enjoy it. And also trying to be the best I can be, and beat Nicole Heavirland every day.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's so not, you know, what I think or what the casual fan thinks, you know, like
Yeah.
From y'all, but like for us, it's like, oh my gosh, like who's on tomorrow? Like who are we watching the next day? When's the opening ceremony? You know, like It's so cool how it's super different. I guess it's the same for a lot of different Olympians, athletes, regardless of sport and stuff. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's the best of the best. Like everybody wants to see it. Everybody's excited. But yeah, that's awesome. I love it. I love the road to any Olympics makes me really excited. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like this year I've just been sitting on pause, waiting like everybody else.
Yeah, but, same.
Yes, but we'll see. It's coming, I guess.
Yeah, I'm very hopeful.
Yes. Yeah, well, I guess on another note, what are you most excited about for Tokyo? I know Tokyo is cool. If I could go to Tokyo, I'd love to go. But yeah, what are you most excited about these games?
I think what I'm most excited for is for the Olympics to happen for all these athletes who have been training so hard for the past 4 years of their lives, for it to happen and for them to show their talent. And then for the world to watch and feel normalized that, okay, the Olympics are happening, the world is starting to be normal again. And that's what I'm most excited for, and to head towards that direction and in terms of that. So, yeah.
Definitely. I think I heard from someone else who's working on the games, and he was saying how it might be a little different, you know, for the athletes. Like it's obviously going to be different for the fans and having like less media and like less everything inside the arena and stuff. But he was saying it's more like a come play and head out, you know, like they don't, because of COVID and stuff, it'll be a little bit less of a grand, huge deal, but it'll still look great on TV. So looking forward.
Yeah, that's what we're told. It's gonna happen, but it might be just like an in and out situation where we do our thing and we're gone.
So. Yeah, which I don't know. Like I feel like I've heard from Olympians like standing in the opening ceremony line for like what 3-4 hours. Maybe that won't be missed as much. Yeah.
And their new Ralph.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. Cool. Well, I'm excited for Tokyo. Obviously, I know you're excited for Tokyo. So I guess what is happening for you from right now until then? What are you doing? Are you still doing Zoom workouts and things? I know you're working out with the team sometimes. I guess what's your focus like in this moment?
Yeah. So right now I'm on Christmas break. So we've been told to keep up the training, keep up, runnings, and so we can come back and start off where what we've achieved in the previous months. But right now it's staying fit, and this immediate time is enjoying Christmas. But when we get back, it's pretty. We've been told it's gonna kind of speed up. So hopefully going to Madrid, Spain in February, and then have some tournaments. And then ultimately the team will be named in June, and we'll be off for a training camp in Japan the next month after that. And really just want to just enjoy playing and just, like I said, get better every day. Something that motivates me is just trying to beat Nicole Heavirland every day. If I feel like I've made that 0.001% better, then I can fall asleep at night. And so yeah, we know how to play rugby. It's now just getting the pieces together as a team and showing the world what we can do.
Definitely. I was speaking with one of my friends the other day, and he was like, we have so much time to ourselves during COVID. There's no like need to have these weaknesses anymore. Like what you're saying, like you're trying to beat yourself every day. Well, I guess not beat yourself. That sounds terrible, but
No. Yeah.
Be better than yourself every day. It's the same thing, right? Like trying to make your weaknesses strengths and all of that. I've heard that so many times in the last like 8 months. And I feel like athletes are really good at that because it's like the discipline, like the team aspect, obviously very important, but having that discipline and stuff is huge, like for yourself, for your team, for everybody. But yeah, I don't know, turning weaknesses into strengths has been kind of the theme, I guess. Every athlete kind of touches on it when they speak with me, which I really like. So maybe it needs to rub off on me.
Well, time is on our side. So
right.
It's one positive out of all this. We have time.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. So just to wrap up, this is always my last question. I always end my shows on advice. I probably should have told you this beforehand. Now that I'm thinking about
it was me. I'm ready.
Awesome. So what piece of advice would you give to 15-year-old Nicole who is about to start this rugby career? What would you tell Nicole?
Focus on what you're doing right now in this moment, and this moment is the best moment. Future is going to happen, and the past already happened, but to be present and to just follow your passion. I think for a while I was kind of in limbo to be like, well, I need to get my degree in this and do that, but I really do want to strive for the Olympics. I don't know what to do, and I was kind of like balancing, but to really focus on and enjoy and embrace actually what you're doing and allow yourself to fall in love with it, because I truly do love what I do, and but yeah, just to embrace it and be full force in it. Yeah.
That's great advice. I ask this to every guest, and I have no idea what I would tell my 15-year-old self. So. Really fair.
Yeah, that's a good question.
But no, that's really great advice. I think she would appreciate it. Awesome. Well, Nicole, this is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I know my listeners will learn a lot about rugby just from listening to this. And well, I'm looking forward to seeing you 2021. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I can't wait. Thanks so much for speaking with me.
Thanks for having me. It was great.
Well, that's a wrap on our first episode of Adventures with Aggie Road to Tokyo. Thanks so much, Nicole, for sharing your story. So on Thursday morning at 10 a.m., we'll have another story from Chuck Aoki. Chuck is the captain of the wheelchair rugby team for Team USA, and I'm super excited for y'all to get to know a little bit more about him and wheelchair rugby as a whole. So tune in on Thursday at 10 a.m.